Hello everyone, this is Saurian Target coming back at you with another Carnivores Top 5 video, where today we're going to be looking at the top 5 islands in the Carnivores games. So basically what this top 5 list is, in my opinion, the best islands or maps in the entire Carnivores franchise. Now, I know the title can be a little bit confusing, but I've already covered the best maps in the first Carnivores game, as well as Carnivores 2 and Ice Age. So this is the culmination video covering every possible map in the entire franchise, including the original trilogy, Cityscape, the mobile versions, and the reboot. So without further ado, let's begin. So coming in at the number 5 spot, we have Dry Notice Lake. Now, some of you might be wondering how on earth or FMMUV32, an Ice Age map, made it onto a top 5 list over some of the more classic Carnivores 1 or 2 maps. But I think Dry Notice Lake deserves recognition on the spot for a few reasons. Firstly, it's one of the only memorable or even good Ice Age maps. It's got plenty of variation, from ice flats to snowy forests to dark beaches, which appease a number of hunting preferences. This is what gives Carnivores maps a solid presence in the minds of players. An island that everyone loves to hunt on, but maybe in different ways due to varied terrain, is a great one because it can be enjoyed for many different reasons. Dry Notice Lake is also very mysterious. Snapped trees fill the forests, while a mysterious and somewhat random bridge connects the mainland to a nearby island. For an Ice Age map, there's a lot of effort and intrigue built into Dry Notice Lake, and for that, it comes in at number 5. Taking the number 4 spot on our list is Ravaren's Bridge. Now, in my top 5 Carnivores Ice Age maps video, Ravaren's Bridge came in at number 2, just behind Dry Notice Lake. But here, in the grand scheme of all Carnivores maps, Ravaren's Bridge steps it up and takes the spot ahead of Dry Notice Lake. Because, in the mobile ports, it is the home to both Ice Age animals and dinosaurs. Now, I did mention that back then, but I couldn't really count it because I was limiting myself to the era and restrictions of Carnivores Ice Age by itself. With that restriction out of the way, Ravaren's Bridge jumps up to a higher spot. And even on its own, Ravaren's Bridge is a fine hunting island. It really stands out in the Carnivores Ice Age lineup because of the noticeable lack of snow, and features one of the only memorable man-made structures in the game. Ravaren's Bridge provides a bit of variety for players, and camouflage for both its mammalian and reptilian inhabitants. It's hard to even call Ravaren's Bridge an island. It's more of a hunting territory, as it's actually comprised of a plethora of frigid swamps, dry beaches, and dark forests, all separated from each other by the ocean in which they reside. The only real connection point is, of course, Ravaren's Bridge itself, and that puts Ravaren's Bridge at the number 4 spot. Moving down to the number 3 spot is the ever-popular Fort Siskin. Arguably the best map in Carnivores 2, Fort Siskin is a great place for beginners and veterans alike. Many Carnivores 2 maps lose their individuality due to the ravages of time. People look back on when they played the game and remember, oh yeah, that place with the big satellite dish, or the really green island, or that island that was really tough to hunt on. But for the most part, everyone remembers the standout Fort Siskin as one of their favorite maps. Few other maps have so much character, backstory, and mystery built into them. From the actual fort, now deserted thanks to a rampaging Tyrannosaurus, to the mysterious Stonehenge overlooking the ocean, Fort Siskin has a lot to offer those who are willing to take the time and look. Not only that, but Fort Siskin provides a genuine hunting arena as well, with realistic and well-thought-out terrain and forests, completely immersing the hunter in an intriguing and true-to-the-genre environment. So for all of that, Fort Siskin comes in at number 3. So moving down to the number 2 spot on the list, we have the Pyramids of Shmu-Hadron. Now, it was a close call deciding between this and the Ancient Temple, but ultimately, I feel that the Pyramids of Shmu-Hadron has more to offer than the Ancient Temple. The Pyramids is extremely varied, both in terms of topography and general island structure. Whether you like slowly stalking your prey and trying not to be spotted among the golden deserts, carefully navigating and following your prey through dense forests, or adventurously traversing through deep canyons and winding mountains, the Pyramids of Shmu-Hadron has you covered. Conversely, if you only like lightly wooded areas, then the Ancient Temple is for you, because that's all you're going to get. In short, the Pyramids of Shmu-Hadron can simultaneously appeal to a wider variety of hunting preferences than the Ancient Temple, and that's why it makes the cut. Everything from the island shape to the diversity to the mysterious pyramids themselves helps cement the Pyramids of Smuhadron as a classic and memorable Carnivores map. I'll never forget the time when I downed the biggest Rex in the game while it was standing on one of those pyramids and got an epic screenshot that I may or may not still have. There are many factors that keep players returning to the Pyramids of Smuhadron, and that's why it comes in at number 2. But before I unveil the number 1 pick, I want to give an honorable mention to Nibelungen Paradise. Nibelungen Paradise is a very interesting map. Apparently, it's a modified map from an early version of Vivisector, a game developed by the same company that developed the Carnivores franchise, and they even share the same engine. But what makes Nibelungen Paradise so standout is the fact that it is the first new map officially added to a Carnivores game in 11 years. Now, although that's not too big of a deal right now, what with the release of Carnivores HD and Reborn, back in February of 2013, this was a big deal. The only real problem with the map is that it's just so bland. It's literally just beaches and a jungle. It looks cool, but as Carnivores maps have progressed in years, they have regressed in interest and mystery. And I know I harp on the woods of Turan Chalks for being just beaches and jungles, so I need to fairly address that Nibelungen Paradise isn't much better. But it sparked something special with its title as the first new map added to a Carnivores game in over a decade. And for that, I think it deserves this honorable mention. So now, here we have it. The number 1 island in the entire Carnivores franchise is Basmashi Rocks. And again, no, not the desert from the reboots. That one's pretty, but it's not near as cool as the original. What makes Basmashi Rocks so great is that it's accessible to everyone. It's a novice map, so if you are just learning the ropes, you can start off here for a good challenge. In fact, just skip the woods of Turan Chalks altogether. But if you're a veteran, you can still come back here and get a good challenge in a unique and varied environment without breaking your back. While I praise the Pyramids of Smuhadron for its variety in regard to hunting locations, Basmashi Rocks I think deserves it even more so. The Pyramids does a great job of spacing and compartmentalizing its hunting areas, but Basmashi Rocks blends them all together so seamlessly and naturally. You can simultaneously hunt on a beach and in a forest, or in a jungle in a mountainous area, without it feeling forced or cramped, and all the while there's plenty of intriguing and unique scenery to take in. Basmashi Rocks is my favorite map in the entire franchise, so there may be a little bit of bias for it taking the number 1 spot in 2 top 5 videos. But I believe that it can be defended as definitely one of, if not the, greatest Carnivores map of all time. Plus, this is all my opinion anyway, so who cares? But regardless, Basmashi Rocks is a classic map that has a lot of effort put into it, and for that, it comes in at number 1. So there you have it, guys. Those are my views on what I consider to be the top 5 islands in the entire Carnivores franchise. But what did you think of the list? Were there any that I forgot or that would have made a better contender for the number 1 spot? What's your favorite area to hunt in the Carnivores games? Let me know in the comment section below, and I will see you guys next time.